Hi, and welcome to this session, which is intended to help you with your accounts if you're a sole trader. My name is Rosie Forsyth. My business is Wilkins & Co, and I'm a chartered accountant based in Bourne End in Buckinghamshire. I work solely with small businesses, small limited companies, to help them make sense of their accounts and their tax. And I'm known for my simple, jargon-free approach and my understanding that you may not love your accounts and your finances as much as I do. So hopefully this session will give you some confidence and some simple tips and advice to help you stay on top of your accounts. So I'm going to share my screen. And turn myself off the video, and we will go through this presentation, which is going to last about 20 minutes. So, to introduce myself properly, my name is Rosie Forsyth. I'm the owner of Wilkins & Co. Wilkins & Co is very much a family business, set up when I had my two boys, and like many, decided to set up on my own rather than go back into corporate life. I have always worked from home, but obviously am continuing to do so, and I'm ably assisted by two fully qualified accountants, both of whom are also juggling work with family life. I have 20 years experience working with small businesses. And as I said, we totally understand that numbers is not your favorite thing. You would much rather be concentrating on the business that you have set up and the business that you love. We are very active on Twitter and have established a good following of people who appreciate our regular blogs and advice with a little bit of fun thrown in. So do please follow me on Twitter and also Facebook to keep up to date with some top tips. So in this session, we are going to cover what records you need to keep as a sole trader, why you need to keep your accounts up to date. We'll look at which accounting systems you can use, and then I'm going to run through a simple accounting system based on an Excel spreadsheet that you should be able to use in your business. We'll finally look at some of the costs that you can include in your accounts and also some of the costs that you should not be including. And as I said, this session is aimed for people who are sole traders and also non-VAT registered. So we are going to keep things nice and simple. So what records do you need to keep? Essentially, you need to keep a record of your sales and your costs. At the end of the year, you need to produce a set of accounts which will show the profit your business has made and from which you will calculate your tax bill. Your profit is simply your sales minus your costs. So what you send to HMRC is your actual tax return. But if they have any queries about the figures on your return, they may ask for evidence as to how you've reached those figures. Such evidence would include sales invoices, receipts, bank statements. So you do need to have these to hand in an orderly format. And if you are going to ask an accountant to help you with your accounts and tax return, then I can assure you that presenting them with all the information in a tidy format is going to result in big brownie points and also a lower accounting fee for you at the end of the year. So why do you need to keep them up to date? Why can you not just have that awful day at the end of January when it's raining and you're depressed anyway, and you've got to spend that day getting your accounts in order to get your tax return in time? I know we've all done it. But as we said, it's a really good idea to have up-to-date information to help you run your business. Without the numbers, you're not going to know exactly how your business is doing on an ongoing basis. So you need to know, essentially, if you're making a profit. You need to know if your prices are set at the right level. If your costs are creeping up, but you aren't aware of it, your profit margins will be reducing unless you take action. And are your costs as expected? And are you including all your costs that you should be including in your business on your spreadsheet? Are you putting enough aside to cover your tax bill? Are you putting anything aside to cover your tax bill? You need to save your tax bill as you go along and not just hope that when the time comes to pay it, You will have money in the bank. Many people set up another bank account and use this to put money aside for their tax bill. I would recommend doing this, as out of sight is out of mind. If you have money sitting in your business account, then it is very tempting to spend it. And I'm often asked how much you should put aside for your tax bill. Unfortunately, the answer is that it depends on your individual circumstance. But as a ballpark figure, putting around 25% of your profit aside would be a good estimate. But please do always take professional advice on this independently. As I said, it will depend on your personal situation. And have you got a buffer of cash put aside to cover any unexpected costs? For example, if you had something break down or you needed to replace something, have you got money put aside to be able to do that? And finally, and probably most importantly, are you paying yourself from the business, or are you working every hour God sent from the minimum wage or even less? It's amazing how many hours you do spend working on your business. So please make sure that you are actually drawing money out of the business if there is money there available to do so. So without being on top of your numbers, you aren't going to be able to answer the questions that we've set out here. And so this is really why you need to keep your accounts up to date as you go along during the year. So what options do you have? The top one may well be very familiar, but as I'm sure you know, it's far from ideal. So let's move swiftly on to the next one. Accounting software. So this would be things like Xero or Free Agent. And they may look complicated initially, but they are actually very intuitive and simple to use. The benefits are that everything is in one place. You can raise your sales invoice from the software, email it out to your client, even check that they viewed your invoice. Download your bank statement, scan in your receipts, and then just simply match up items as you go along. Whilst there are free options, the more robust softwares are on a monthly subscription, starting around £10 and going up to around £30 a month. So this is an additional cost to the business, but these costs are generally far outweighed by the time savings, especially as your business grows and the number of your transactions increase. They also offer good reporting functions, so can provide you with management data at the touch of a button. The third option is to use a spreadsheet, and this is what we're going to look at in a little more detail today. A spreadsheet is sufficient for most non-VAT registered sole traders starting up, and it can be tailored for your own use, and it's obviously free to use. The downside is, of course, human error. So if you type in the wrong information, it's going to give you the wrong information back. So if you've got a typing error or have a formula that doesn't work, you're going to get the wrong data. So you do need to be careful that this is set up correctly in the first place. And as I said, this is the system that we're going to have a little look at in more detail here. So for a spreadsheet accounting system, and for any accounting system really, the first thing that you need is a separate bank account. And I can't stress the importance of this enough. As a sole trader, it is not actually a legal requirement to have a separate bank account, but you will find your accounts so much easier if you do. Your personal and business transactions will not get mixed up, so it will be easier to find and reconcile your business costs. Costs also won't get missed if they're all in one bank account. And if HMRC do ask for evidence, you can then just send them your business bank account, and you won't be sending them lots of personal information as well. So how is this system going to work? First of all, we're going to download your bank transactions into a spreadsheet. So we're going to go onto your online bank, select the date range, and download the information into an Excel spreadsheet. Then we're going to analyse each transaction into a category. This could be sales, cost of sales, stationery, insurance, anything that's useful for you and your business. Then we're going to cross-reference each transaction to a receipt. These can either be filed monthly in a folder or scanned into an app. If you are going to file them, then I always find it easier if they're just filed in a lever arch file and filed monthly, rather than put into sort of an envelope for each month or things, which just makes it a lot harder to find anything when you're looking. Then I also would recommend that you do this every week. If you can do it Monday morning, I know it's not maybe your ideal time to do your accounts, but it would just get it out of the way and get it done so you can concentrate on the rest of the week. And it should only take you 15 to 30 minutes, and then that's your job done. So here's my example of a spreadsheet that you can use, and I'll just run through it with you. On the left-hand side, we've got your bank statement. This is simply downloaded from your bank. And on the right-hand side, we've got the categories that we're going to use in our business. And we're simply going to go down our bank statement line by line and transfer everything on the left into everything on the right. To check nothing's been missed, total up the columns so that you can see that the total sales of 1140 is the same as the money in, and the money out of 683.71. We've correctly put everything into a category, and the total on the right hand side balances as well. If the two aren't the same, then something is obviously missing, or you have a typo and you need to go back and find out where that is. I've got a reference column here, and I've added in there the numbers that I've then written on my receipt before I file them neatly away in my folder. And really, that's all you have to do. It really is that simple. If you can make a habit of doing this every Monday morning, then you'll start to get a good idea of how your business is performing. You can update the one tab every week, or you could set up a tab each month, which would give you monthly figures and give you more useful information for your business. Once that's done, I would also recommend that you have two other spreadsheets on the go, and I'll show you the examples of these in a sec. First of all, list all your sales invoice on the spreadsheet and mark on it the dates they were paid. And again, review this every week and chase up outstanding invoices. It's all too easy to let invoices go unpaid, and the longer they're outstanding, the harder it is to deal with any queries and get that money in. And then have a spreadsheet that lists other costs that may not go out of your business bank account. Hopefully, there will be very few of these, but there will be occasions that you need to use cash, or you buy something for your business with your personal card. That could be stationery from a supermarket, or it may be that your Amazon account is simply linked to your personal account. So these do need to be recorded as they are business costs. So make a list of these on the spreadsheet as you go. And each month you should reimburse yourself this money from the business bank account. You'll see on the spreadsheet that we had before, the bottom there, we had repay expenses. That's us taking money out of the business account to repay ourselves for our personal expenditure. Here's my example of just a simple sales list. It simply lists sales invoice by customer name and date, and then the amount that you've received and the date it's received. If you can make a comment there, if anyone hasn't paid, then when you come back to look at this the week after, you'll be able to see where you were and update your information as necessary. And here's my example of a spreadsheet of business costs not paid from the business bank account. You can see I've got the parking cost on there, and I've got some stationery as well. I've also included in there a mobile phone, because although my mobile phone is paid personally, it is used both for business and personal phone calls. And so I'm able to allocate a percentage of this to my business. So I've estimated that 30% of the time I spend on my phone is for business. And so I've popped 30% in the top line up there, and I've included 30% of my mobile phone bill against my business. So really that's all there is to it. If you can keep the first main spreadsheet and then a couple of other ones on the go as well, you'll be well on the way to having a good accounting system and to get a better feel for how your business is doing based on the information available to you. So now that we know how to keep our accounts, it's also important to make sure that we're including all the costs that we can claim and also not including other costs that HMRC are not going to allow us to set against our business. So to finish our session today, I wanted to share with you some of the most frequently asked questions that I do get about expenses. I do have a fact sheet covering this area as well, and if you'd like a copy of it, then please do email me at admin@wilkinsco.co.uk, and I will happily send you my spreadsheet, and those contact details will come up at the end of the presentation. But firstly, let's cover some of the expenses that you can claim. First one is working from home, which I guess we've all been doing a lot of this year. And you can allocate some of the costs of working from home against your business. There are two methods that you can use to work out the amount that you can claim. The first is a flat rate based on the number of hours that you've worked from home. And the second is a more complicated calculation, which involves adding up some of the costs of running your home and allocating a percentage of these to your business based on the space and time that you use for your business. Both these methods are detailed in the fact sheet that I'm happy to send to you, or are available on my blogs on my website. The second is use of your car. Again, maybe this year we haven't used our car very much for business, but hopefully soon in the future we will be doing. And again, there are two methods available to calculate how you recharge the use of your car to business. One, again, is a simple rate, just based on the number of miles that you do, and the other is a more complicated calculation. And again, these are detailed in the fact sheet. So let's now look at some of the costs that people frequently do try to claim, but are not seen as legitimate business expenses by HMRC. Unfortunately, the first of these is childcare. And as unfair as this may seem, you're not allowed to offset the cost of childcare against your business. The second is clothing. In the days when we did leave home to do our jobs, we may well have invested in clothing that we only use for work. But unless these clothes are safety wear or clearly include our business logo, then HMRC are going to argue that these have dual use and they will not allow you to reclaim the cost against your business. In terms of entertaining and food in general, entertaining has always been an expense that you're not allowed to offset against your business. So although taking a client out to lunch may be great for building a business relationship, you cannot offset the cost of this against your profits. Similarly, the cost of subsistence that you incur, so that's grabbing a coffee or lunch on the go, is not permitted. The only exception to this is if you are doing a journey that is outside your normal course of business. So for example, if you work in Birmingham and you're traveling down to London for the day for a conference or a meeting, then you would be able to claim the cost of food while you were there and also the cost of accommodation if you need to stay over. The cost of learning a new skill. If you're doing ongoing training, then that is an acceptable cost and you can put that against your business. So professional development, continuous CPD. But if you're learning a new skill, then that is seen to be a capital investment in yourself and not something that you can claim. So for example, if you were a yoga teacher and you were doing a refresher course on a certain style of yoga, then that would be fine. But if you decided that maybe yoga wasn't for you anymore and you wanted to retrain as a social media consultant, then those costs would not be something that you could put against your business. So those are the key types of expenses that I'm frequently asked about. And hopefully now, when you come across those in your business, you will know what to do with them and how to deal with them. So to finalise, just a set of actions that you could do to help you keep on top of your accounts. The first is set aside time once a week so that you do actually do your accounts. The second is to open a separate bank account. Once you've done this, download your bank statements and analyse the transactions in a simple spreadsheet every week. Note and reclaim any expenses that you need to repay yourself from the business. Chase any unpaid invoices and make sure that all the costs that you have incurred are included in there. And once a week, just take a few minutes to follow up any outstanding issues. So if you can't find an invoice, get a copy invoice now. Don't wait 6 months down the line when you're trying to do your tax return to email someone and ask them for a copy. Chase your debtors now. Check your pricing to make sure that you are making the profits that you would like to make in your business. That could be your sales price, but it could also be the cost of things that you're buying into your business. Maybe you need to shop around and see if you can get anything a little bit cheaper. So I hope you found that session useful. As I said, it was intended to be a whistle-stop tour of a simple accounting system that you could use. And hopefully you can see that if you just follow those simple tasks every week, then your bookkeeping shouldn't be too onerous a task. If you would like a copy of the fact sheet about expenses that I was talking about, then please email me at admin@wilkinsco.co.uk. Please do follow me on Twitter and Facebook for regular blogs and top tips to help with your accounts and tax. And if you would like more individual help ongoing or advice with your accounts and your tax, then please do drop me an email at rosieforsyth@wilkinsco.co.uk. wilkinsco.co.uk, and I'd be delighted to chat with you and see how I can help you further. Thanks for listening and have a good day.